Hi, it's me, Mr. Plumber, and in this episode we're going to be lining a chimney for gas-fired appliances. The reason we're doing this is because there's some carbon monoxide leaking into the space. Also, there's a strange odor in the living quarters, and so we're going to line it, and basically what it involves in is dropping a line that's similar to a dryer vent inside the chimney. And the key to this is the proper sizing. And to size it properly, you have to use the charts that they give you for whatever manufacturer of product you're using. In this application, I'm using Z-Vent because that's what was available. Basically, all they had is the flue piping shoved into that space there where the liner is. When I say liner, I'm talking about the clay liner. You can see where the clay liner is. There's absolutely no way to make a tight connection. So when we drop the liner inside of that, we're going to be pulling it out here and just piping it like you would normally pipe a flue pipe. When you line a chimney, it also increases the velocity of the products of combustion because we're actually reducing the size of the chimney. But according to the calculations of the table, everything should the combined BTU input of the appliances and the height given comes out to a calculation of 6 inches fine for this application. So we're going to be running 6-inch inside this 7x7 chimney. Other than sizing the actual liner, a formula we use to size flue piping, where you have multiple flue pipings, is say for instance this one we have a 6-inch flue and a combined with a 3-inch flue. Now where those two meet, we need to combine them into one pipe, but we need to know how big that pipe should be. So the formula we use is diameter squared of the larger plus 1/2 of the square root of the smaller. And you take those two numbers, add them up, and take the square root of that number and match the closest pipe to that. In this case, it's actually 7-inch because we have 6 squared is 36, plus half of the 3-inch, which is 3-inch squared would be 9. You take half of that, which is 4.5. So you take the 4.5 plus the 36, it comes to 40.5. Then you take the square root of that, which is larger than 7 but smaller than 6. Larger than 6 but smaller than 7. So 7 inches what we have to run to this Y. Here's a Z-vent, and when it comes from the factory, it needs to be extended. And the way we extend it is normally we have two people that grab an end in the middle, and you just pull apart from each other, and that extends it to its full length. The full length of this one is 35 feet, which is more than enough for this application. So the first thing that has to be done is to measure how much of the chimney you need to run down. This piece right here, we use from job to job. It doesn't come with the Z-vent. It's called the nose cone. And attached to this is a piece of rope. Substituting for another person, I just tied it to my truck. And I extended this by just pulling it and extended it to the length that I need. And now what we're going to do is drop this rope down the chimney after I untie it from the truck, and then pull it through, right from the roof to the basement. Fortunately, this is a pretty flat roof, and it's not a big deal. You can just walk right across with it. So here we are up on the roof, and we're going to drop, as I said before, the rope's already down. Here's our nose cone, and here's our tiled chimney. Actually, not this section, but the one below it was actually fallen in and had to be realigned. I actually had to reach all the way down with a long crowbar to straighten it out because I couldn't get get this by it. So now we have a straight shot right to the basement, and we're going to line this. And when we get close to the edge, I'm going to put on this flashing and that cap. Weather finally cleared up here. It's been raining for the past 3 or 4 days, and I tried to get the liner down the chimney, and we're having a huge problem with it because I can't get the liner through the sections because they're not lined up, and the liner sits pretty tight in the chimney. So what we have to do is actually open up the chimney, and on the side here, I'm on the roof, and realign all the sections, and then try to put the liner back through, and either myself or I'll have to get a mason. We'll have to tighten up the bricks after. Okay, so I removed this one little prick here just to expose what's inside, and here's the tile. I'm not sure if you can see that, but see how the thing is just moving? Just by my hands just moving it. That's supposed to be mortared in, and that's not supposed to move at all. Not just this section, but the one below it. There's no mortar in the joints. Well, what mortar was there is gone away. So this is typical of an exterior chimney application, and you can see how the mortar joints are all rotted on this side. That's due to the products of combustion and the cold air and the moisture. However, if you look on this side where they have the wood stove, all the mortar joints are intact. So this is typical of a gas appliance exterior chimney application. Okay, I took a little more out, and these bricks just fell apart, and they came apart with minimal effort. I had to chisel some of the joints out, but they're just like, you can just move them, see how loose they all are. And again, this is all on this side because of the moisture and condensate. But look at this, how this is moving. Now, in addition to that, there's also gaps in between the mortar joints, which are leaking carbon monoxide into this void here. There's a large void inside this chimney. So when the products of combustion leak out the side, they kind of just fill up in here. It can actually leak out of the fire damper down below that goes to the fireplace. So when we line this, it's going to have a direct shot to the boiler, so there'll be no way of the carbon monoxide leaking back in. So the liner has been brought down through the chimney, and I really had to bust my ass to get it through because it was really tight. But it's through, so now it's all the way into the basement. And up top here, I had to make this cap, but it's not quite done yet. I had to peen over these edges and make this box because the actual clay came up about 3 inches higher than this mortar cap. And I'm about to screw this liner cap in. Just basically sits on the liner. We put 3 screws in and push it back down. And I'll probably put a few more screws to hold it into that place. Okay, so we have our cap on, and I have it mortared and secured into the masonry cap. So that's not going to go anywhere. And there's our liner inside the chimney. We just need to have a mason come by and mason this up. Okay, so after the liner has been brought down through the chimney, we unattach the nose cone and attach the first fitting. This is actually a reducer. Normally you wouldn't do this in flue piping, but it is allowed when you have a liner because the products of combustion are moving at a higher velocity. Also, we have this mortar ring, and this mortar ring gets mortar right up to it. It's just to keep the mortar off of the flue pipe that we just installed, the liner.